I've been thinking lately about how, in my opinion, moral outrage without action is actually killing our capacity to create change. So something something upsetting occurs in the world, right? And soon your social media feed is flooded with reactions. There's quotes like, "This is horrific," and "We got to do better," and "I stand with fill in the blank." And all of these are appearing alongside black squares, changed profile pictures, and heartfelt discussions. And then, just as quickly as everything started flooding into your social media feed, nothing happens. Just a week later, a new crisis emerges, and the previous outrage seems to fade into the background. Now, I'm not trying to mock anyone for caring, feeling that this matters to me. I think that's a very human reaction. However, we've developed a culture where showing concern often takes the place of taking real action. This shift isn't just unhelpful, it can actually cause harm, and it's something that we should be mindful of. When you share outrage without suggesting ways to help, it can often increase anxiety rather than raise awareness. Psychologists call this learned helplessness, where people feel the moral weight and want to make a difference but aren't sure how to start. And as a result, they might either become overwhelmed or resort to the same empty actions just to release their guilt. Sometimes the act of sharing becomes more about the performance than making a real impact. Remember, genuine change happens when we move beyond just talking to taking meaningful steps. I've talked about this book almost ad nauseum, but Neal Postman predicted this quite a while ago. Back in 1985, in his book, he explained how television was turning all important discussions into entertainment, making complex issues simpler for emotional effect, losing context, and training viewers to just consume rather than think deeply. And that was about television. Just think about what he might say today about algorithmic feeds made to grab attention through outrage. We're not simply entertaining ourselves to death, which, by the way, was the title of his book. We're also performing ourselves to exhaustion. We've transformed moral concerns into mere content, turning injustice into engagement metrics and suffering into scrollable entertainment. Let's remember to stay mindful and compassionate in how we engage with these important issues. And this isn't just about missing out on creating change. It can actually hold us back. Real change takes ongoing effort, steady attention, and hard work, things that often don't get immediate praise or likes. It also doesn't give us that quick rush of feeling righteous. The way the system is built makes sure that outrage doesn't easily turn into real power, but that shouldn't discourage us. Postman began his discussion by comparing Orwell and Huxley's vision of dystopia. Orwell's world is one where oppression, censorship, external control, and Big Brother have led to destruction, a scenario born from what we fear and dislike. Meanwhile, Huxley's dystopia is shaped by what we love, pleasure, distraction, and trivial culture. So much so that books become irrelevant and there's no need to ban them because no one desires to read them anyway. In this way, truth gets lost not through concealment, but through becoming meaningless, drowned in the chaos of distraction. And Postman concludes that Huxley was right. Sharing our feelings online gives us a quick boost, a bit like a happiness pill that keeps us going. The constant stream of news and crisis, each demanding attention, but fleeting, feels like background noise. Never enough to truly pause and reflect. Interestingly, there's a strange joy in all of this because, in a way, we created ourselves. Nobody pushed us to turn morality into entertainment. We did it because our efforts are recognized and rewarded. It's a cycle we happily participate in, finding comfort in the response that we get. So, what do we do with that? I don't, I wish I did, but I don't have a quick fix for this because the platforms are incredibly profitable and unlikely to change. But there are a few practices that can help reduce some friction. Little spaces where meaningful things can actually hopefully begin to unfold. So, before sharing something that might upset others, take a moment to consider, what do I hope someone will do with this? If your goal is simply to make others feel bad or to persuade them to agree with you, that's a good cue that maybe you should just pause. Instead, try to include a clear action step, like pointing to a specific organization, a contact person, or an upcoming event. Or ask yourself if sharing genuinely helps or if it's just a way to vent. Remember, sharing is most impactful when it leads to positive action or understanding. When you share an issue, try to commit to one simple follow up action within 48 hours, like calling a representative, donating, attending a meeting, or volunteering for a couple of hours. Just one thing. If you're not willing to do even a small step in the next 2 days, it might be something worth reflecting on. This part can feel especially challenging because it sometimes seems like we're giving ourselves permission not to care. The truth is, caring deeply about 50 crises at once just isn't realistic. Our emotional energy and attention are limited. It's perfectly okay to focus on 2 or 3 issues that truly matter to you. For the rest, it's healthy to let go a little. Remember, spreading yourself too thin means your concern is everywhere, but real change happens when you focus your efforts on what truly matters. Follow people who not only point out problems, but also share helpful frameworks for action. Consider unfollowing accounts that focus solely on outrage without providing guidance, not because they're bad, but because they can leave you feeling helpless. In your own life, when someone shares a distressing experience without suggesting a way forward, ask yourself, what can we do about this? Here's what I actually believe after thinking about this for a long time. Moral outrage without taking action isn't true awareness. It's more like entertainment. When that entertainment mimics engagement, it not only falls short of creating real change, but can actually hold it back. It makes us feel like we're involved without the effort or commitment needed to make a difference. We get social validation, a sense of moral superiority, and the feeling of participating, all without putting in real work. Once that need's met, the drive to take genuine action often disappears, leaving us stuck in a cycle of superficial concern. That's the trick Huxley warned about. It's not that we wouldn't be able to act. Rather, it's that we'd be offered something so delightful that we'd decide not to act. So, just choose one issue that you've mentioned recently. Think about one simple step that you can take in the next 48 hours. It's not just about awareness or starting a chat, but about taking a real tangible action that makes a difference. And if you ever feel hesitant to take even a small step toward fixing an issue you mentioned, take a moment to sit with that feeling. I've been there too. The system often makes us feel stuck. But remember, we have the power to choose differently, one real commitment at a time.